It's going to make the other shoes that I'm testing feel probably firm and not as bouncy or not as exciting, because this one is really... So with a few runs done and dusted in this shoe, this is the New Balance Balos, and these are my first impressions. But before we get into it, a big shout out to my #1 running store, the Running Company at Geelong. I've got a link to their website in the description. Make sure you go check out that and check out all their running gear. And also guys, if you haven't done so already, make sure you hit that subscribe button. So the Balos is marketed as a neutral training shoe that's designed to put a bit of fun into your run. So I think it's certainly in the super trainer category, because it's got a little bit of that super foam mixed into the midsole, which I'll go through a little bit later. But with our quick specs, hefty price here, $300 in Australia and $200 in the US. Now in the weight, New Balance says on the website that the size 9 is coming in at 9 ounces, where my size 9 here is weighing well under that, so 8.6 ounces for me and 245 grams. Now in the stack here, we've got 33 in the rear, 27 in the front, and that's going to give us a 6mm drop. And in our upper here, the material that they're using is called a creel mesh. Now this mesh reminds me of the mesh that they use in the Super Comp Trainer V2. But this mesh, it feels really robust, it's quite stiff. The whole shoe in general feels quite robust. We've got a really solid heel cap here, like a big solid heel cap. We've got a big cushy pillow here on the Achilles. And it probably goes into, we've got a fair bit of padding around the heel collar here. But yeah, it feels like a nice and plush shoe. Now with our tongue, it is a stretch knit tongue, so similar to what you're going to find in like the Asics Nimbus shoe, but a nice stretch knit tongue, which I absolutely love. The tongue is gusseted. Now our laces, I think, are a bit of a strange choice on this. They feel like they sort of belong in a casual shoe, because they're quite thick and they're quite weird to sort of do up and get a good lockdown in, but lucky that this tongue does a great job to lock the foot down in this shoe. Now in the fit, so it's a weird fit. So in the length, I'm going to say it could be true to size, but this toe box has got really low volume. So it's one of the lowest volume shoes that I have probably ever tried on. So I had to go half a size up, and then half a size up, so the length fits me fine, and that's obviously given me a little bit more room volume wise in the toe box. But in the width department, it's still a pretty wide shoe, but yeah, just that volume is really short. So yeah, just be wary about that one. But for me, I would recommend going half a size up. And in the outsole here, so they've got a bit of an interesting concept going on here. So they've got these pod things all over the shoe. It sort of reminds me of what's going on in the New Balance More V5. But they've only got a little bit of rubber on the shoe. So a little bit here in the rear, in the high wear area at the bottom, and then obviously at the top of the shoe. And then both these areas for me is where I showed most of my wear. And then apart from that, no more rubber in the shoe. They've got this ground contact EVA, which is this part just here. So it's a little bit more robust than the actual exposed foam that you can see for the rest of the shoe. But in the grip department, no issues at all. I haven't run in this shoe in the wet yet, but the jury is out on how durable the bottom of this shoe is, that's for sure. And in the midsole here, so we've got a really interesting thing going on, brand new foam. So they've mixed up FreshFoam X with PEBA. So I'm not sure of the ratio there, but it certainly delivers an interesting ride, which I'll go through later. Now there's no plate or anything in the shoe, however, it's more rigid than what I thought it was. I thought it was going to be a really flexible shoe like the 1080, but it's not. There's a little bit of play left and right, but going this way, yeah, it's still a pretty rigid shoe, especially through the rear. And I think it needs to be like that because this shoe has got some really interesting geometry. It's got a big rocker in it, however, it's a very early stage rocker. So it starts back in the middle of the shoe. It sort of reminds me of the geometry that you're going to see in the Mizuno Neo Vista, but really nice. And in the ride, so the first word that's coming to mind is bouncy. So this shoe is so bouncy. It's one of the bounciest on the market. Pretty much one of the bouncy shoes I've ever tried. It's also so soft. It's one of the softest shoes on the market. It's really rocket. You can really feel that rocket sensation, so that really early rocker, so it's pretty accommodating at most paces. Because it's so soft, I didn't feel super unstable in it because it's just so soft. and it's got it's not really flat on the bottom of the shoe on any way, so you can easily roll onto the shoe, so it feels quite natural. But more importantly, it is really, really fun. And straight out of the box, I took this shoe out for a 3-hour run and my legs felt fine. And with the stack not actually being a super high stack and this foam being so soft, I didn't experience any bottoming out, which is a great sign. So what I'm liking in this shoe so far is certainly number one, the ride. It's such an enjoyable ride, so bouncy. And I also love this stretch knit tongue. And what I'm still figuring out in this shoe is where New Balance sits this in its range. So I'm confused with it. Is it a super trainer? Is it just a really expensive daily trainer? Yeah, still figuring that out. And dislikes in this shoe is certainly the low volume of the toe box and also the price. So just wrapping up my initial thoughts in this shoe, well, absolutely loving it. It's got to be one of the most enjoyable shoes to run in, I think, that I've ever tried. It is, it's just like the 1080, except it's got lots more bounce, lots more excitement, and the geometry is much better, so much more rocketed. It's like a bit of a blend between the Neo Vista and the 1080, so no wonder that I am loving this shoe because I love both of those shoes. My predictions with these shoes, yeah, it's going to be great for easy days. It's nice and soft, so it's going to save the legs on your recovery days. It's got enough pop, and that rocker is really going to help you out in the long runs. As I said, I ran 3 hours in this shoe straight out of the box, and my legs felt fine the whole way. Didn't get sluggish or anything like that. I still think it's light enough, and this foam's got enough bounce and pop to take it probably on some tempo workouts, but it doesn't come across as a super fast shoe that you could do threshold or race in. However, everyone's a little bit different. If you really like a soft, bouncy ride, then that may suit you. But lots more testing to go in this shoe. My only concern with this shoe so far is probably the durability of the foam. How long is it going to hold up? And also, I'm afraid that if I run in this shoe too much, it's really going to ruin the sensation of other shoes because this one is so soft and so bouncy. It's going to make the other shoes that I'm testing feel probably firm and not as bouncy or not as exciting because this one is really, it's really a bit of an extreme feeling. So I'll have to just use this one in just little spurts. But anyway, guys, that's it. Those are my first impressions. Any questions you've got for me about this shoe, please just leave it in the comments below. But thanks for watching. Make sure you give this video a like, subscribe to the channel, and I'll see you next time.